They talking shit about I, who will win and why. I'm alive, just took one to revive. Keep that vibe when we show up and collide.
Okay, let's jump down here. Details of 2 black firemen from fire station number 2. As of April 3rd, 1968, Norval E. Wallace and Floyd E. Newsom, remember this, y'all, were the only black firemen assigned to fire station number 2. Remember, that's the lookout right across from the Lorraine Motel. They had 2 black firemen assigned. Wallace was working the night shift on April 3rd, and Newsom was scheduled to report for the day shift on April the 4th. Both of these individuals actively supported the sanitation's worker strike, attending the rallies and making financial contributions. How did they know all this? How did they know at a time where it won't nobody posting, running the numbers up on social media? How did they know? Did they go back and tell their coworkers, hey, you know what I'm saying? We're the only 2 black guys in here. I'm gonna go back and tell my coworkers that I'm at this sanitation strike and I'm making contributions to these rallies. So, all right, here's a motive right here. These 2 men, they saying that they clicked in with us. You know what I'm saying? They ain't all the way firemen, right? This is this credit, I feel, in some such, or come up with a story of what's about to happen next. Okay. In our interview with Wallace, that's the black guy, 76, he stated that about 10 or 10:30 on the night of April 3rd, his captain told him that a call had come in requesting that a man be detailed to fire station number 33, and he was immediately detailed to number 33. Although it was raining and he was preparing to go to bed, Wallace further stated that while fire station number 33 was understaffed as a whole, there was no shortage of personnel for the pump truck on which he worked. Otherwise, he does not know why he was detailed. So here it is, you getting calls 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night that one of the black firemen has been shifted. Instead of being at fire station number 2, he need to go down to 33. Also on the night of April 3rd, Fireman Newsom, in the holy personnel capacity, that's the other black fireman, attended a rally at the Mason Temple where Dr. King made his last speech. When he returned home at about 10:30 p.m., there was a message for him to call Lieutenant J. Smith at the fire department. When he called Lieutenant J. Smith, Lieutenant ordered him to report to fire station number 31 on the morning of April 4th, rather than fire station number 2. Newsom claimed that fire station number 31 was overstrength at the time of his detail and made his company short. Moreover, he says he never received satisfactory explanation as to why he was detailed. However, he did say that Lieutenant Barnett at one time told him he was detailed at the request of the police. Lieutenant Barnett. And I see Lieutenant J. Smith up here. I don't know where this Barnett came in. Maybe I went over him earlier. Okay. Interviews of past present members of the MFD have failed to disclose the individuals who initiated the order of reasoning for detailing Wallace and Newsom, the only 2 black men. According to the former Lieutenant Jack Smith, he received a telephone call between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Wow, that's a big range. That's a heck of a window. I got a call. It was between 3 and 5 p.m. And they telling me to move the only black firemen and detail them and realign them and reassign them in other parts of the town. 3 and 5? I mean, 3 and 3:30. But you couldn't narrow it down no better than that. So what that does is give them another opportunity to leave a box unchecked. If you saying you received a call between 3 and 5, that's a large window. Anybody could have been, in that office between 3 to 5 p.m. in and out. So you can't really pinpoint who called. So the call came in on April 3rd, 1968 from either Captain James T. Balty or former Assistant Chief Arthur J. Rivalto in the personal department, specifically requesting the Newsom be detailed. No reason was given for the detail. Smith said he immediately called Newsom, but Newsom was not home. Now, mind you, they was just talking about they knew that the brothers was going to the Masonic Lodge. They were going to the sanitation and worker strike. They was donating all of that. However, nobody can give any kind of reason why they was detailed on paper. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I said this was going to be a short one, but unfortunately, this is definitely not the video. It's going to be a short one. All right. So just showing y'all some shady stuff that's going on right here. So I'm going to just say this, it's just it behooves me that all of this stuff going on. Mind you, we got King's the people that he's traveling with are listed in these documents as aides instead of name dropping. You have several confidential informants that's not name dropped. You have people going shopping. That was the confidential informant. That's all they said. The confidential informant went shopping with the Rev and returned back to the hotel about an hour before King was assassinated. Here's another point right here. It was a tactical unit, which I found real strange. So apparently it was a tactical unit or a tactical squad that was hanging out around the fire station. So all of this law enforcement present didn't deter this guy who they gonna name later in the paperwork as the suspected gunman who acted alone. All this law enforcement right there by the fire station, surveillance 24/7, all of this going on. This did not deter this guy from carrying out his mission. Or were all of these people there? Were all of these law enforcement there to ensure that the shooter got out of there? That's my thing. And I ain't gonna say everybody on the task for tactical unit was in had knowledge, but you do have certain people that could have been providing inside information or inside intel to assist with the getaway, to assist with weapons being placed here, things of that nature. Okay, on the afternoon of April 4th, 1968, TAC Unit 10, consisting of 3 cars and 12 men, stopped at the fire station number 2 for a rest break at approximately 5:50 p.m. So this tactical unit pulls up 10 minutes before King is unalived for a break. All of it just so happened that they in the area, and they're let me go over here and catch up with these guys at fire station number 2. Take me a break. I'm saying use the bathroom, whatever. 10 minutes before this shot rang off. Okay, so it says while Patrolman Douglas remained with the lead car to monitor the radio, all of the other men went into the fire station to take a break. When the shot was fired that killed, when the shot was fired that unalived Dr. King at approximately 6:01 p.m., these men were at various locations in the fire station, drinking coffee, eating donuts, making telephone calls, etc. Patrolman Richmond, who was manning the surveillances post in the rear of the station, yelled throughout the station that Dr. King had been shot. The members of the TAC unit, some of whom heard the shot, all ran out the north side of the fire station and then east towards the rear of the fire station and the Lorraine Motel. Patrolman Douglas, who had remained in the lead car to monitor the radio, heard a shot. When it was fired, he immediately got out of the car and ran toward the rear of the fire station with the other men. After Patrolman Douglas realized what had happened, he returned to the lead car alone with Patrolman Wright and radioed the dispatcher that Dr. King had been shot. Douglas and Wright then drove the lead car south on South Main Street to East Butler, east Butler to Millbury. So they just run around in circles, huh? And North Millbury to the entrance of the Lorraine Motel. Douglas and Wright later drove the car accompanied by Notice right here in these words below on page 41, there are conflicts in the statements of Douglas, Wright, and Gormley. Douglas stated that Gormley and the other unidentified officers got into the car with him at the fire station. They drove to the Lorraine Motel. According to Wright's version, he and Douglas left the fire station together and picked up one or two other unidentified officers at the Lorraine Hotel. On the other hand, Gormley claims he turned around at the concrete wall at the rear of the fire station and ran to the front of the station, and then north on South Main Street. So their stories didn't even add up. No, I'm just saying everybody's a suspect right now when you got, you know what I'm saying, Dr. King laying there on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Why are you looking out the window? Fresh footprints in the mud. About 10 feet up the alley, they found two fresh footprints in the mud. Landers guarded these footprints until unit homicide detectives arrived on the scene. So he guarded the footprints. Subsequently, a plastic case was made of each footprint. However, the footprints were never positively identified by either MPD or FBI. Upon learning that where the shot was fired from, Dolomite, not Dolomite, but Dolomite and Maley ran out of the motel courtyard, turned north on Millbury. So here's where it gets interesting, because when they case in this area, they run by this guy at Canap's Amusement Company, and he observed a green bed spread lying in the doorway, partially covering a blue suitcase and a box containing a rifle. As he continued down South Main Street, a short distance near a fenced park area, Dolomite observed Lieutenant Normally and other officers coming north on South Main Street. So hold on, a box containing a rifle, and you kept going? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I ain't reading that right, but it said he ran into a cafe, ordered everyone to remain seated and not to leave. Dolomite then stopped momentarily at Canap's Amusement Company, located at 424 South Main Street, where he observed a green bed spread lying in the doorway, partially covered, a blue suitcase, and a box containing a rifle. As he continued down South Main, a short distance near fenced-in park area, Dolomite observed normally, and other officers coming north on South Main. Dolomite turned around at the point and walked back to Canap's store ahead of Lieutenant Nomley, and then crossed the street for the purpose of securing the front of the building. After he took up his position, Douglas and Wright drove up in the lead car. So it sounds like this dude seen a rifle and kept with the witch hunt. Other officers who did not climb down the retaining wall at the rear of the fire station and run to the motel, after running to the retaining wall and observing people pointing to the building on South Main Street, Barry came back to the fire station entrance, jumped in the cruiser, drove north on South Main to the first intersection of Hewlin, where he stopped the car in the street and secured the area. I apologize, everybody out there from Memphis, if I'm mispronouncing these streets names. I'm like Hewlin, I don't know, it's Huling, so that's what it looks like to me. Hey. Nomley and Gross also returned to the front of the fire station after first running to the retaining wall. They both turned north on South Main Street and ran toward Hewling. Nomley stopped at Canap's Amusement Company, where he observed what appeared to be a blanket partially covering a blue suitcase and a Browning rifle box with about a foot of the barrel of the rifle exposed. So now here we go with the weapon. Now this guy, Nomley, sees the weapon too. Now the previous guy ran past the damn gun and was still running around in the street like he was looking for somebody or looking for something. Like, yo, who is this nut that ran past the gun that initially seen the gun? Who is this? Dolomite? However, Dolomite continued running with his gun drawn. He had his gun out in a public area. It was just one shot fired. You running around with your gun out, see a rifle, and keep going. Sound like Dolomite was a smoking mirror, if you ask me. Sound like he was a smoking mirror. He was out there acting like he was doing police work, all the while he probably seeing the people get away, or seeing who it was get away. But this guy had to double back and find the rifle. The apparent discrepancies on the statements of normally and Dolahite can be accounted for only by the mass confusion which must have occurred immediately after the shooting. Man, cut it out. Ain't nobody mass confused. Man, I done seen cops, you know what I'm saying, out when something like this happened, like a shooting or something. But we talking about one shot, remember? And then they're getting these calls, King down. You know what I'm saying? These cops probably won't feeling Dr. King like that to be all nervous and paranoid. Why would they think somebody else would be shooting or firing down on them? You know what I'm saying? If King get assassinated and you a cop, more likely they didn't describe them as being they didn't describe these cops as being black. So why is you running around with your head cut off unless you trying to aid and abet and assist the man from, getting up out of there? You know what I'm saying? You producing a smoking mirror. You know what I'm saying? Confusion must have occurred immediately after the shooting. Come on, man. You ran past a whole damn rifle with your gun out. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Okay, so basically right here, they just casing the different areas. People are giving a description of a man jumping in a white Mustang and speeding off, describing the man, and just, that's what's happening here.